It's time for the One Bar and Lupaga Show, bringing you anything and everything Minnesota Vikings.
Welcome to professional football.
All right, welcome back to the One Bar and Lupagus Show. I'm One Bar with Lupagus, and damn it, we got a practice squad.
Well, we got most of it. We couldn't wait for all 16 names to get on this thing. We were so excited to talk about these guys. We got, 14 out of 16?
14 out of 16 ain't bad.
Official. Yeah. So let's go through the list, talk about it, for surprises to see them here. Maybe what kind of future they have with the Vikings. So first of all, it's fullback Jake Bargas. This guy had practice squad written all over him. I don't think this was surprising one bit.
I think we talked enough about Jake Bargas.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe he's a special teamer someday, but he ain't gonna see the field anytime soon. Next, we got Blake Brandel, the tackle from Oregon State. I think a 6th-round pick. There was some late steam on this guy that maybe he's even gonna make the active roster. To see him on the practice squad it's not shocking one bit.
Yeah, he was running with the twos. I think he has a future absolutely with the Vikings, at least as a depth move. Riley Reef is probably gone next week or next year, and there's going to be room.
Yeah, and he might be someone who gets called up during the season if someone gets sick or hurt or something, where maybe you see Brandel late in the year.
Yes, sir. Let's go to quarterback. We kept both quarterbacks, Jake Browning and Nate Stanley, as expected. I guess they can battle it out for years to come. Who makes the active roster?
Well, and what it gives you it gives you two guys who are at least familiar with the system. If someone does get sick, Cousins or Manning get sick, you have an option you can pull up. The fact they kept Browning for a second straight year shows they must like him. Maybe they see a little bit of future with him. If he continues to develop, who knows? Maybe he's in the mix to actually compete for a backup spot next year. But, again, to keep both these guys on a 16-team practice squad, I think we both saw this coming. But I didn't see this one coming. Aviante Collins, guard tackle. I thought he was making the team. He gets let go. Back on the practice squad. I mean, really, what else do you need to see with this guy? He's been around for, 3-4 years? Seems like he's been here forever. You think you know by now if this guy's got it or not.
You know what's very sad about this is the fact that not only is he back on our practice squad, nobody wanted to even bring him on their team, and he was competing for our number 1 left guard spot. And that's how bad our offensive line is. It's depressing as shit. I almost wish he would have been picked up by somebody.
Just to make you feel like we had a guy?
Yeah. This guy is back on our practice squad, and he was competing to start. It's horrifying.
Yeah, well, maybe he'll show up again. Who knows? I don't think we've seen the last of old number 76.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Another guy, one of my favorites, Brandon Dillon, on the practice squad. I did not think they were going to keep forward this year, and you can kind of tell at the end of the camp, Conklin was pulling away at that 3rd spot. So Brandon Dillon, I was a little nervous. It did take a while for him to make this one official, but glad to see him sticking around on the practice squad.
Yeah, and again, Kyle Rudolph's years are numbered with the Vikings, and who knows, we might see Brandon Dillon on the 53 in a year or two.
Hell yeah. Last year, the Vikings traded a 7th-round pick to get this guy, and a year later, that 7th-round pick is on the practice squad. It's cornerback Mark Fields out of Clemson. Again, another quiet guy. I didn't hear a lot out of him in camp, so they keep him around. Makes sense.
Yeah, Kyle Hinton, my love for him, it grows deeper and deeper every day. Very glad to see him on the practice squad. I think, like Blake Brandel, he has a future as at least a depth move. Kyle Hinton is just potential.
Oh, you think of next year, you could potentially have no guards. Elfine's going to be gone unless Dakota Dozier becomes a Pro Bowler. Both those spots should be wide open. Kyle Hinton, he's big, physical, he can move. He just needs to get a little more seasoning. I think he definitely could be in the mix for a starting spot next year. So
seasoning, maybe a little Lowry's on top of him.
Yeah, but I'm not just a little bit. I don't like too much Lowry's.
Oh, you can never have too much Lowry's.
No, you can. But yeah, I know. I think he's got a real bright future, and I'm glad we were able to get him on the practice squad. He was one of those guys I didn't think would maybe make it.
Yeah, 2 years from now, we're gonna be like Kyle Hinton is gonna be a damn steal.
Yeah,
mark it down.
I once thought the Browns got a steal in round 4 with Martin Rucker.
That was horrible. Alexander Hollins, everybody's so concerned. Oh my God, is he gonna make it? He made it easily. He's back. He's on our practice squad.
Well, you talk about a guy who did everything he should have to make the team, but this shows what the Vikings feel about special teams. You keep 2 guys who give you special teams ability over probably the guy who's a more polished receiver in Alexander Hollins. But again, he's on the practice squad, and I do think we'll see him on the field this year.
Yeah, Hollins, just another guy. I mean, I'm kind of surprised no one put a claim in for him, but then it just kind of goes back to my Collins argument. Maybe we just get these guys in our head. I mean, remember Kyle Sloter? We always have these guys that we just think are just going to get snapped up, and they just always end up on the practice squad.
Yeah.
I think we're gun shy from Tyler Thigpen when we tried to sneak him on. He's like the only guy that's ever been sniped from us.
And had, and he had a little bit of success. So I think he had a decent contract from Buffalo, was it? Somebody. All right. This guy, I guess, was a hot commodity. Everybody wanted him on their practice squad. I didn't know he was even eligible, but Bush Jones is on our practice squad. This is the same thing I feel with Collins. I feel with Jones. If you didn't see it by now, what are you waiting for? It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just I don't think they're there to develop. They're there in case of an emergency. If somebody goes down, they know the team. They've been there. Brett Jones, Chris Thomason reported that there were 6 teams trying to get this guy on their practice squad, which the Brett Jones myth, what's the word? Legend continues in purple.
Yeah, Bush Jones, he's there. I think your point about just having him there in case there's an injury to someone is a pretty good one. That is probably why he's on the practice squad. Here's a guy who's there for upside. It's Blake Lynch, the linebacker, undrafted from Baylor. I think the team liked what they saw out of this guy, so potentially could, get worked in, compete for like the 6th linebacker spot next year, but nothing. I don't think we'll see him this year.
Special teamer, maybe next year.
Yeah, Nate Meters, again, there was some rumblings he might be kept as the 3rd safety. I guess we're just not going with a 3rd safety this year.
Don't want him.
But he's on the practice squad. He's here. Again, he's available if we need him, I suppose, in an emergency situation.
Yeah. Yeah, and speaking of safety, Josh Metellus, our not our last guy, our second to last guy, Josh Metellus was at a pretty good camp. But like you said, we don't want backup safeties, so he was not on the roster.
Nothing to do with them. Metellus can sit and learn. Again, whether his future is at safety or linebacker, we'll find out. But I think I'm just the one spreading that rumor, but I think there's a lot of smoke there.
Well, mentioned the final guy, the only guy that was not on the Vikings, Chase McLaughlin.
But he has been on the Vikings before. A couple times, I think he was on a practice squad. Yeah, the kicker. I guess he can also emergency punt, so he gets a little bit of a backup option at 2 spots there. So again, he was here before. I think it was a year or 2 ago. He stuck around for a little bit in camp.
I don't remember this guy.
Oh yeah, he's been on a practice squad before, so he's familiar with Minnesota. Yeah, I guess it makes sense to have a backup kicker in the COVID season, just in case Bailey does get sick or something. But this guy's basically been on every team in the NFL, I think.
Yeah, but he's still. I mean, he was only in last year's draft. He was on. I'm looking it up. He was on the Vikings from September 1st to September 10th last year. So he had quite the run. You say he can kick and punt. That scares the shit out of me because the last guy we grabbed to get that did not pan out at all.
We didn't.
Yeah,
but he lit a fire under Bailey's ass.
You're right. Dan Bailey owes his career to him, but yes, you said it. It's probably good to have a kicker on your practice squad in this type of season. A couple things worth noting before we get into the guys that we still haven't heard about. That every draft pick is at least back on the practice squad, so that is good to see. 15 draft picks. It's pretty crazy aside from Brian Cole. I think it goes 2 ways where this is a shitty year to be a rookie, to be a late round pick where it's tough to make the team. But then you got to look at the fact that the practice squad has doubled. So there's going to be 8 guys that wouldn't have been on there otherwise, and they're going to get to be there. Coaches are going to get to see them. So I think it kind of evens out.
Yeah, it's got its positives and its negatives. So let's talk about who are some notable guys that we do have, 2 spots left that we do not see on this list so far.
Where the hell is Courtney Davis and Neville Clark? Why are they not on here?
Yeah, I mean, Clark especially because he was making plays in camp. He was I was surprised the team kept Harrison Hand over him. I thought Clark maybe won that job, but yeah, and now he's not on the practice squad. Makes you wonder what the hell's going on there.
Still 2 spots left, though. There's still a chance.
There is. And then you got Courtney Davis, who, everybody was high on that guy out of the draft. Many thought he'd go in like round 4 or 5, falls out of the draft. I know he had some injuries in camp. but the fact that he couldn't even make the practice squad, or at least not yet, maybe shows just that maybe he's just not who we thought he was. In the words of Dennis Green.
Yeah. That I'm holding out that these guys will be the final two guys, but something tells me they won't. Jake Lucina, does with Brett Jones coming here. He's not going to be here. A little surprised about that. David Moa Constrictor. He had a pretty decent camp as well. I wouldn't mind one of those spots going to him. And then the last guy is just Dylan Mitchell, and I think Dylan Mitchell's time is ended in purple.
Yeah, I wouldn't even brought him into camp this year.
That's not polite. It's not polite. This will be evolving as well, just like the 53-man roster. Obviously, the Vikings still have some moves to make. They're still going to get some safeties. We still have, how many receivers do we have on the 53? It's 7?
7. If you count Justina as a receiver, it's 7.
So I fully expect this to be moving around in the next couple of days. But the Vikings do have a game a week from today, so they're going to have to get it solid quick, unlike your shit.
Yeah, you're not wrong there. You're not wrong there. So here's something you probably didn't know, and if you were asked about it, you would have got it wrong. It would take 1.2 million mosquitoes, each sucking once, to completely drain the average human of their blood.